Hello! In this tutorial we will create sliding door fittings for in-front mounting to use in TrunCAD. Therefore, we go to Front, Sliding Door, and here to the Settings. Up in here, we enter our name. Here you can set your middle overlap. Overlap on the top and on the bottom. Here we have -4 on both of them. Then we need the distances for the first and for the second lane. The first one has a distance of 5 mm, and we have a distance from one to the other lane of 24 mm. This means we have to enter 5 mm here and 29 mm here. Then we need to specify if we want grooves and where we want them. Now that we've activated our grooves, we need to set the measurements. And each groove has a width of 7.5 mm and a depth of minimal 5.5 mm. So we enter 7.5 and add a 0.2 mm clearance on the depth, which means 5.7 mm in depth, and then hit save. If we now close it and add 2 sliding doors, we can now see that our grooves have been added. Now let's get back to the boreholes. First we make sure to select the hardware we just created. Then we will take a look on the boreholes. For our first borehole, we need a distance in X direction of 40 mm, in Z direction of 13 mm. Make sure you have panel selected, then we select a reference point here on the corner, then set our bore direction and enter our distances. In X we had 40 mm, in Z 13 mm. Then this borehole is 35 mm in diameter and 9.5 mm in depth. Enter this here, 9.5. 35 millimeters. Also make sure mirror hole is checked. Then we add this ball, and then we see this needs to be minus 30 millimeter and not plus 30 millimeters. So we select this, enter minus 13 millimeter, add these holes and get rid of the other ones. Now the distance of these two holes is 52 millimeters and the position in Z is 16 millimeters. This means 40 millimeters minus 26 millimeters are 14 millimeters. So we enter our next hole at 14 millimeters in X direction, minus 16 millimeter in Z direction. Then we have a diameter of 10 millimeters and a depth of 9 millimeters. Then we click plus. Our next hole is in X on 66 millimeters, and we click plus. And for the boreholes down here, we need to change our reference point. Now that we have a reference point here, we can change this to 16 millimeters. Since we have the same distance on the bottom here, then add this one and go to 14 millimeters here. Add this other hole, then change this to 40, 13 millimeters, 9.5 millimeters in depth, and 35 millimeters in diameter. And add this one. Then hit save and close. If we now select the hardware again, we can now see that it has been added to our doors. As usual, you need to set your calculation settings for this. In here, then hit save, and you can use it in TrunCAD. This was how to create sliding door fittings for in-front mount for the use in TrunCAD. Thank you for watching.